Hello students, in this video we see the solution of unit test 2. Okay, subject mathematics, total marks 25. Okay, so let's start it with question number 1. Our first question is find an AP from the below option. Okay, one blank is given to you. We need to find an AP from below option. So for AP, what we need to check here? For AP, what we need to check? We just need to find the common difference D. If common difference D in all the terms are same, then it is called AP, otherwise not. Okay, so for the first option A, here second term minus first term 4 minus 2, 2. Okay, now check the another difference 8 minus 4. 8 minus 4, 4. So here difference D is not same. Right, here we get the difference 2, but here we have difference 4, so this is not an AP. Okay, in AP difference between all the terms are same. Now here 3030, so second term 0 minus 3 minus 3, then third term 3 minus second term 0, it's a 3. Here difference minus 3, here difference plus 3, this is even not same, that's why this is even the wrong option. Then third AP 2 5 8 11, so 5 minus 2, it's a 3, and 8 minus 5, it is even 3, and 11 minus 8, it is even 3. So here we have the same common difference, right? Here we have the same common difference, so we can say that this is AP. So option C is correct. Now check the option D even, 0 4 minus 4 and 8. Now second term minus first term, 4 minus 0, 0, then 8 minus minus 4. Okay, this minus sign is as per the formula, and for itself have a negative sign, so we need to write in the bracket. So here 8 minus minus plus 4, 8 plus 4, 12. Okay, so here we have difference 4, here we have 12, this difference are not same, so we can say that this is not the correct option. So here our correct answer is option C. Okay, after that question number 2. The first term of an AP is denoted by small a. These things we already learned in the chapter number 5, right? First term is denoted by small a. So here our option B is correct. Okay. After that, in question number 3, for the AP minus 2, minus 4, minus 6, minus 8, the common difference is, so if we want to find common difference D, so second term minus first term A2 minus A1. Here A2 it is minus 4, right? Then this minus sign is as per the formula. Then A1, that means first term itself, it have negative sign, so we need to write in the bracket minus 2. Okay, now here minus 4 minus minus plus 2, so here minus 4 plus 2, so plus minus minus 4 minus 2, 2, big number 4 have negative sign, so here negative sign, so here our answer is minus 2. Okay, minus 4 plus 2, plus minus minus 4 minus 2, 2, big number 4 have negative sign, so here negative sign, so here our answer is minus 2. Okay, so option B is correct, minus 2. After that, question number 4, the formula to find the nth term of an AP is, the formula to find the nth term of an AP, that means we need to find the AN. What is the formula of AN? It is A plus N minus 1D. Right, A plus N minus 1D. This is our first option, so our option A is correct. A plus N minus 1D. Okay, formula for finding out the nth term, it is A plus N minus 1D, option A. So here our option A is correct. After that, question number 5, HCF is equals to 8 and LCM is equals to 64. Right? HCF is equals to 64 and LCM is equals to, sorry, HCF is equals to 8 and LCM is equals to 64. A is greater than B, then A. We need to find the value of A. That means greater number we need to find here. Okay. Now we know one thing. A multiply B is equals to HCF multiply LCM. Right? A multiply B is equals to HCF multiply LCM. So HCF it is 8 and LCM it is 64. Right? So now here we can think this question in many way, but if we think about the simple way, okay, then here just check the option. First option is 8, second option is 32, third option 16 and fourth option 64. Now here even we have two numbers, so directly we can say that this can be our A and this can be our B, right? Because HCF multiply LCM is equals to multiplication of two numbers. So this can be our A, and so A can be 64 and B can be 8, right? Because A is greater than B. So here maximum answer 64 is possible. So directly we can say that option D is the correct answer. It can be 32 even, right? 32 into 16, but here we want greater number, right? So here our answer can be 64. Right? For 32 it is even true, right? Because 32 into 16, but here we want big answer, so we can say that 64 is correct answer. Okay. Then number 6, if PQR are distinct primes, then their LCM is distinct primes. That means different primes. That means they do not have any common factor, right? They do not have any common factor. So directly we can say that LCM is equals to P multiply Q multiply R, because if they do not have any common factor, so same number we need to take here for the LCM. So our answer is B, PQR. Okay, because we can say that P is equals to only P, Q is equals to only Q, and R is equals to only R, because we do not have any other factor, because these are the prime numbers. Right? So LCM we need to write the number with highest exponent, so all the number we need to write here PQR. That's why our answer is B, PQR. Okay, after that question number 7, here we need to find the HCF of 15, 24 and 40. So we need to factorize all this number. So here first of all for 15 it is 3 multiply 5, 24 it is 8 3s are, right? So 2 multiply 2 multiply 2 8 into 3, and 40 8 5s are, so 2 multiply 2 multiply 2 8 multiply 5. Now here we need to find the HCF, right? So for finding out the HCF, what we need to do? We just want the common factor, right? We want the common factor. So here in all these three number, which factors are common? Here we have 3, here we have 3, but here we do not have. Here we have 5, here we have 5, but here we do not have. Here we have 2, here we have 2, but here we do not have 2. So there is no any common factor in all these three numbers, right? We can say that there is no any single common factor in all these three numbers. That's why our HCM is 1. If nothing is there, so our answer is 1. Okay, there is no common factor, then our answer of HCF is equals to 1. So here option D, 1 is the correct answer. Okay. After that, question number 8, 0.02222 ... is which type of number? Rational number, irrational number, integer or natural number? Which number is that? So here 0.02222 we can write like this: 0.02 bar, 0.02 bar. Okay, if we can represent in this way, so definitely this is a rational number. Why? Because we already learned one method in standard 9 how to convert this number into p by q form. If a number can be represented in p by q form, so definitely it is a rational number, right? That's why we can say that this is rational number, because 0.0222 it means 0.02 bar, and it can be represented in p by q form, so that's why this is the rational number. Okay, 0 point, first of all we can assume here 0.02222, here 0.02 bar, only one digit, on only one digit we have bar sign, so here we need to multiply with 10 in both the sides, so one digit comes forward, so 0.22222, and from that we need to subtract this equation, x is equals to 0.0222 up to infinite. So this 2 cancel here, here 2 minus 0, 2 point 0 into 0, so 0.2 is equals to 10x minus 1x, 9x. So x is equals to, first of all we can write like this, 2 by 10, and we need to transfer this 9 to the right hand side, it goes to denominator, so 2 divided by 90, right? So we can represent this number in p by q form, so that even we can say that this is a rational number. So here our option A is correct answer, rational number, and definitely this one, this is decimal number, so it cannot be natural number, it cannot be integer number. Okay, that's why it is a rational number. After that, question number 9. Here, if PE bar, if PE bar is equals to 0.47, then PE is equals to, we learned one formula in theory part, PE plus P naught A, otherwise PE bar is equals to 1. Now put the value here. So P of E plus 0.47 is equals to 1. Now transfer this 0.747 to the right hand side, so it becomes negative. So P of E is equals to 1 minus 0.47, it is 0.53. Okay, so our answer is 0.53, option D. So if we want to find P of E, we can directly use the formula 1 minus PE bar. And if we want to find PE bar, then 1 minus P of E. Right? We can use this formula. Here our answer is option D, 0.53. Okay. After that, question number 10. The probability of an impossible event is, the probability of an impossible event is, we already learned this thing in our theory part, the probability of an impossible event is 0. So here our option A is correct answer, 0. And probability for certain or sure event, it is 1, right? But here for impossible event, probability is 0. Okay, after that, question number 11. Total number of outcomes in experiment of tossing an unbiased cone twice is, total number of outcomes in the experiment of tossing an unbiased cone twice is, that means 2 times we need to toss a coin. So total how many possibilities we have? First possibility is H, that means on both the coin head will come. Then HT, that means first coin H, second coin tail. It can be TH even, first coin T, second coin H, and last possibility it is TT. On both the coin tail will come. Okay, so HH, HT, TH and TT, these are the 4 possibilities we have. So total number of outcomes is equals to 4. Okay. So here our answer is 4, option C. After that, question number 12. A card is drawn at random from a well shuffled pack of 52 cards. Then the probability of that card being an S is. Total 52 cards are there. We need to find the probability for S. So in 52 cards total, how many S's are there? Right, in 52 cards total, how many A's are there? That becomes our favorable outcomes. Okay, that becomes our favorable outcomes. So here total, how many S are there in 52 cards? 4 S, right? Because in all the pattern we have one S. So one red, so one heart S, one diamond S, one club S, one spade S. So total 4 S we have, and divided by total number of cards, it is 52. Right? So 4 by 52, it is the answer, but we can simplify here. 4 into 13, right? 13 4s are 52, 4 cancel. So here P of E is equals to 1 by 13. Okay, numerator nothing is there, so 1, and in denominator 13, so 1 by 13. Okay. After that, question number 13. Two balanced dice are rolled simultaneously, then the probability that the sum of numbers on the dice is 13 is. We need to find the probability for sum is equals to 13. Okay, and two balanced dice are rolled simultaneously. Here one mistake is that it's not 2 but it's a 2, TWO, two balanced dice. Okay, one more thing, here we need to find the probability for sum is equals to 13, right? But maximum number on the die is 6. Maximum number on the die is 6. If on both the dice 6 will come, then 6 plus 6 12. Then maximum addition, it can be 12, it cannot be 13, right? If on both the dice minimum number, that means 1 will come, so addition is equals to 2, and maximum number will come, so 12. So always the sum of the numbers on two dice is always lies between 0 to 12. It cannot be less than 2, it cannot be more than 12, but here it is given for the probability for 13. So there is not an any single pair who have the sum 13. That's why here answer is 0. It is called impossible event, right? Because 13 cannot become, it is not possible. That's why it is called impossible event. Here we do not have sum 13 in any element, so our answer is 0. Okay, so probability of this question is 0 because this is an impossible event. Okay, after that, question number 14. Chits numbered from 1 to 100 are put in a box, and a chit is drawn randomly from the box. The probability that card drawn bears a two-digit number. Okay, here chits number from 1 to 100. Okay, and we need to find the probability for two-digit number. Okay, so probability of event A is equals to, now in numerator, favorable outcomes divided by total number of outcomes, right? In numerator, total out and favorable outcomes divided by total number of outcomes. So now here for favorable outcomes, here we need to find the probability for two-digit number, right? So total how many two-digit numbers are there in 1 to 100? Total how many two-digit numbers are there in 1 to 100? Right? In 1 to 100, total 100 numbers are there, right? And in between 1 to 9 are single digit number, and 100 three digit number. So it cannot be two digit number. All the other numbers are two digit number. Okay, 1 to 9. So 9 that number and 100. So total 10 numbers are there which are other than the two digit number. So remaining 90 numbers are two digit numbers. Right? 11 to 90. Sorry, 11 to 99. Sorry, 10 to 99. Okay, so here how many two digit numbers are there? Okay, 1 to 9 is a single digit number, and 100 itself is a 3 digit number. So remaining other 90 numbers are 2 digit numbers, right? 1 to 9 and 100. So total 10 numbers are other than 2 digit number. So here probability enumerated favorable outcomes, it is 90 because total 92 digit numbers are there. So here 90 divided by total numbers 100 because states are from 1 to 100. So total numbers 100, right? Now 90 divided by 100. So here 0 0 cut, 9 by 10 it is 0.9 because in denominator we have only one digit. So in numerator before one digit we need to put decimal point. So 0.9, 0.9 is the correct answer. Okay, so here option A is correct, 0.9. Then question number 15, the zeros of quadratic polynomial p of x is equals to x square minus 3x plus 2 are alpha and beta. So 1 upon alpha plus 1 upon beta is equals to. So here we can solve this question by two ways. First of all, we can solve this equation and we can find the value of alpha and beta, and then we can put the value of alpha and beta in this equation, right? Otherwise, just simplify this 1 upon alpha plus 1 upon beta and take the LCM. So here beta, here plus alpha, and in denominator multiplication of this alpha into beta. So alternately it is alpha plus beta upon alpha into beta, right? 1 upon alpha plus 1 upon beta, alternately it is alpha plus beta, otherwise beta plus alpha, and alpha into beta. Right, now what is the formula of alpha plus beta? Minus b by a. And what is the formula of alpha into beta? C by a. So a cut from denominator, so minus b upon c, this is the final answer, right? Minus b by c. Now b, it is 3, right? Here this minus sign is as per the formula, but 3 itself have a negative sign. So minus 3 divided by c, it is 2. So minus minus plus 3 by 2. So our answer is 3 by 2, option B. Okay, so in this way even we can find the answer. So here our option B is the final answer. After that, which one is a cubic polynomial? Okay, cubic polynomial have degree is equals to 3, right? That means highest power of variable, it is 3. Now check the option A. Here we have exponent of variable x, it is 3, right? So this can be cubic polynomial, but here x is given in the under root, and one condition is there for the polynomial. What is the polynomial? So in that variable have non-negative integer exponent. Variable have exponent non-negative integer, right? That it cannot be decimal number, right? It always have a positive integer number, right? Here under root x, it means 1 by 2. So this is not integer number. That's why this is not polynomial, right? Here we have degree 3, but this is not polynomial. That's why this is not cubic polynomial. Here even x is given in the under root, so this is even not the polynomial, right? Here we have maximum exponent of x, it is 3, right? And all the exponents are positive and integer, so this is the correct answer for cubic polynomial, right? Here we have degree 3 and all the exponents are positive integer, so this is the correct answer. And in option D one, here we have exponent 1 by 3, it is not integer number, that's why this is not a polynomial. So here our answer is option C. Okay, then question number 17, if 3x plus 5y is equals to 8 and 5x plus 3y is equals to 24, then x minus y. Here even we have two ways. That means either we can do the elimination method, otherwise directly we can find. That means first of all we can use the elimination method, otherwise cross multiplication method, otherwise substitution method, and from that we can find the value of x and value of y, and after that we can subtract it, so we can get the answer. But directly even we can find the answer. Here just do the process equation 2 minus equation 1. It means subtract equation 1 from equation 2. So first of all write down equation number 2. 5x plus 3y is equals to 24. Then write down the second equation. 3x plus 5y is equals to 8. Here we use the subtraction process so that we need to change the sign. So here positive becomes negative, here positive becomes negative, here positive becomes negative. So 5x minus 3x, 2x, here plus minus minus. So 5 minus 3, 2y, big number 5y have negative sign, so here negative sign, and here 24 minus 8, it is 16. Right, so 2x minus 2y is equals to 16. Now we can take 2 as a common. So 2 common. So here x, because 2 is already common, here 2 is already common, so x minus y is equals to 16. Now transfer this 2 to the right hand side. So you will get the value of x minus y is equals to 16 divided by 2, because this 2 is in multiplication. If we transfer it to the right hand side, it goes to denominator. So 2 8 is 16. So here our answer is 8. Okay, so x minus y is equals to 8. So option C is correct answer. Okay, option C is correct answer. After that, question number 18. The solution of pair of equations x plus y minus 1 is equals to 0 and 2x plus 2y minus 3 is equals to 0. Okay, we need to solve this two equation. So our first equation x plus y, now transfer this 1 to the right hand side, it becomes plus 1. Here 2x plus 2y, transfer this minus 3 to the right hand side, it becomes plus 3. Right, now if you want to eliminate, here we can eliminate a variable x, otherwise y, it's your choice. You can use the elimination method, substitution, cross multiplication, whatever you want. Here I am going with elimination method. So second equation I write as it is. Equation 2 minus equation 1 multiplied 2. Because if you want to equivalent the variable x, then here we need to multiply with 2. So here multiply equation 1 with 2. So it becomes 2x, 2 multiply y plus 2y, and 2 ones are 2. And we are using the subtraction process, so negative sign. Now 2x minus 2x cancel, 2y minus 2y cancel. So 0 is equals to 3 minus 2, 1. So 0 is equals to 1. This is not possible. Right? 0 is equals to 1. It is impossible. It means that here solution is not possible. That's why it is called no solution. Okay. Here our answer is option C, no solution. Otherwise, if you initially just check the a1 upon a2 and b1 upon b2 and c1 upon c2, then even you can get the answer no solution. But if you directly solve the equation and face such a this type of situation, so from that you can write this answer no solution. Okay. After that, question number 19. The discriminant of x square minus 3x minus k is equals to 0 is 1. Then the value of k. Here discriminant d is given to you. Okay. D is equals to 1. Now what is the formula of d? B square minus 4ac is equals to 1. Now b, it is minus 3. Right. So put the value here, minus 3 all square minus 4a. Here nothing is there. So we can write a is equals to 1, right? So 1, and c, it is minus k. And here we need to find the value of k, right? So now minus 3 all square, it is plus 9. Right? Minus 3 all square, it is plus 9. Now here minus minus plus 4 multiply k, 4k is equals to 1. Now transfer this 9 to the right hand side. So 4k is equals to 1 minus 9. Okay, so 4k is equals to 1 minus 9. So 4k is equals to, now plus minus minus, 9 minus 1, 8. Big number 9 have negative sign, so negative sign. Now for finding out the value of k, transfer this 4 to the right hand side, so it goes to the denominator. So minus 8 divided by 4, 4 to the 8, so minus 2. So k is equals to minus 2. Okay, so here our answer k is equals to minus 2. So option B is the correct answer. Okay. After that, question number 20. Here, if one of the root of equation is 3, then k is equals to. Now 3 is one root of this equation, and root of this equation means what? This value always satisfy the equation. So in equation, put the value of x is equals to 3. So you will get the value of k. Okay, so put in place of x, put the value 3. So kx square, so k in place of x 3 all square minus 7x, so 7 multiply 3 plus 3 is equals to 0. Okay, now here 3 square 9 into k, 9k minus here 7 3s are 21. Okay, plus 3 is equals to 0. So here 9k, now here plus minus minus 21 minus 3, 18. Big number 21 have negative sign, so here negative sign is equals to 0. Now transfer this 18 to the right hand side, so 9k is equals to plus 18, right? So 9k is equals to 18. Now for finding out the value of k, transfer this 9 to the right hand side, it goes to the denominator, so 18 by 9, 9 to the 18, so k is equals to 2. Okay, here our answer k is equals to 2. Option D is the correct answer. After that, question number 21, sec 90 minus a. This is one formula, complementary angles. Sec 90 minus a, it is cosec a, right? Sine can be converted into cos, cos can be converted into sine, sec can be converted into cosec, cos can be converted into sec, tan can be converted into cot, and cot can be converted into tan. So here sec 90 minus a, it is cosec a. Okay. After that, question number 22, sin 60 plus cos 30 divided by 1 plus sin 30 plus cos 60. Now here we need to put the value of sin 60, cos 30, sin 30 and cos 60. And for that we need to remember that trigonometric table. Okay. Now put the value of sin 60, it is under root 3 by 2 plus cos 30, it is even under root 3 by 2, right? Divided by 1 plus sin 30, 1 by 2 plus cos 60, 1 by 2, right? Now in numerator, denominator is same, so directly we can add the numerator. Under root 3 plus under root 3, it is 2 under root 3 divided by 2, and in denominator we can directly write 1 plus, now half plus half, it is 1, right? 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2, it's a 1. Now from here we can cut this 2. So here in numerator we have under root 3, and in denominator 1 plus 1, 2. So under root 3 by 2, this is the final answer. Okay, so under root 3 by 2 is the answer. So option A is the correct answer. Okay. After that, next question 23. Tan A plus cot A. So convert tan A into sin cos. So sin A upon cos A, in place of tan A we can write sin A upon cos A plus cot A. Cot A, that means cos A upon sin A. Now take the LCM here. So sin is multiplied with sin A, it is called sin square A, plus cos A multiply cos A, it is cos square A, and in denominator multiplication of this 2, it is sin A into cos A, right? Now we know the identity, sin square A plus cos square A, it is 1. So 1 divided by sin A into cos A, right? We get the answer 1 upon sin A into cos A. Now 1 upon sin A, we can write like cosec A, right, inverse function, and 1 upon cos A. In place of, we can write like this, sec A. So our answer is cosec A into sec A. So option D is the correct answer, cosec A into sec A. Okay. After that, question number 24. The top of two poles of height 18 meter and 10 meter, 12 meter are connected by a wire. If wire makes an angle of measure 30 degree with the horizontal, find the length of the wire. Okay, here we have two poles, one have height 18 and one have height 12. Okay, now top of these two poles, that means this 2 point, we need to join with one wire. Top of two pole joined with the wire. So here one wire is connected and this wire makes 30-degree angle with the horizontal. Right? Now height of this is 18 and here 12. So this is even 12, right? So upper part is 6, right? 12 plus 6, 18. So finally our upper triangle is like this, 30, here 6. If we give the name ABC, and we need to find the length of wire, here our wire is AC, right? Top of two pole is connected by a wire, so wire is AC. So here we have the opposite side and we want to find hypotenuse. So here we need to use sine, right? Because in sine formula is opposite upon hypotenuse. So sine 30 is equals to opposite 6 upon hypotenuse AC, right? Sine 30 is equals to opposite side 6 upon hypotenuse AC. Now sine 30, it is 1 by 2, right? Now transfer this AC here, so AC into 1 AC, and transfer this 2 here, so 6 to the 12. So 12 meter, this is the answer of AC. That means length of wire. So here length of wire is 12 meter. Option A is correct answer. Okay. After that, last question, 25 number. A 3-meter long ladder leans on the wall such that its lower end remains 1.5 meter away from the base of the wall. Then the ladder makes an angle measure with the ground. That means here we need to find the angle. Okay, 3-meter long ladder, one wall is there. So first of all, one wall, one ladder is there. Okay, 3-meter long ladder. Now here AC is ladder, right? So it is 3 meter, and lower end of ladder, that means point C, is 1.5 meter away from the wall, that means from B. Okay, length of ladder is 3 and lower end, that means C, is away 1.5 meter from the wall. So BC is 1.5 and we need to find the ladder makes an angle with the ground. So this angle we need to find. Okay, now for finding out this angle, what we need to do? For this angle, this is adjacent side and this is hypotenuse, right? So which trigonometric ratio we need to use here? In that we need to cover adjacent side and hypotenuse. So here we need to use the cos, right? Cos C is equals to adjacent side 1.5 divided by opposite side 3, right? 1.5 into 2, 3. That means cos C is equals to, numerator nothing is there, so 1 divided by 2, 1 by 2. Okay, cos C is equals to 1 by 2. So in cos, for which angle we have the value 1 by 2? We know that cos 60 is equals to 1 by 2, right? So here our answer of C, it is 60 degree, option C. Okay, so C option is the correct answer, 60. And students, here our solution part is over. So if you have any doubt, you can write in comment section. I will give you the answer. Okay, thank you.